Guys, welcome back to the channel. It's about Remain the Trucker, back with another video. I know you guys saw the thumbnail. Yo, this video today, you might want to watch this video. Helwig company driving position. I'm going to compare it working for the Russian. Which one is better? In this video, I did a deep dive using ChatGPT to help me to calculate which option is the best one. Working at Helwig for 62 cents a mile or working for the Russians at 70 cents a mile. You know what? We're going to put the Russians at 75 cents a mile. What is the difference between these two options right here? The difference is with the Russian guy, you're a 1099 employee. Basically, you're a contractor, which no taxes or any deduction comes out of your weekly wages. However, over by Helwig, at 62 cents per mile, they already take taxes and everything out of your money. So whatever you get at the end of the week will be your net, your take-home pay. You don't have to worry about the IRS coming for you in the future. And we have a video clip at the end of this video right here that will scare a lot of you. So if you guys watch through the whole thing, when I play that clip, it will summarize everything. Now, how are we going to approach this? Let's say, because I've seen some other YouTuber talking about the Russian company, 75 cents per mile, you know, and they always say 3,000 miles a week. Oh, if you work with a Russian and you run 3,000 miles a week at 75 cents a mile, you make a whole bunch of money. So we are going to use 3,000 miles a week working for the Russians and 3,000 miles per week working for Helwig. And we are going to see who comes out on top. I mean, I could end the video right now. You'd be like, Remain, but 75 cents, 3,000 miles per week. You should be making more with the 1099 with the Russians, because Helwig is only 62. But we're going to get into it. But let's look at the numbers. What are the numbers? For the Russian guy, 3,000 miles a week at 75 cents, your gross pay is $2,250. No tax is out of that as yet. That's the Russian just gives you that on your check. Boom. To your account, boom, $2,250, and you're feeling good. Damn, man, 3,000 miles. I make 2 bands. It's looking good. You make 2 1/4 bands. You're feeling good, right? You go over by Helwig. You do it 3,000 miles a week at 62 cents. You make $1,860. That's before tax. They didn't take any tax out of that yet. And you're like, okay, Remain, just end the video right here. The Russians have it. No, we are going to deep dive. And what are the difference? What's the difference right there in pay? The difference when you take away what you will make at Helwig versus the Russian, it's a $390 difference. Again, you'll be like, Remain, I'm making almost $400 more with the Russians each week, running the same amount of miles. I'm getting more cents per mile. End the video, Remain. End the video. Remain, you left Prime because you were saying when you go to Helwig, you make an extra $500, which is true. I did left Prime to Helwig to remain still as a company driver, and at Helwig, I make an extra $500 a week. So, with that logic, I should be leaving Helwig to go work with the Russian and make this extra $390 a week, right? That's not the case. We're going to deep dive into it. Now, when you're a 1099 worker working with the Russian, 75 cents a mile, 3,000 a week, you know, you make that 2,250. But you might want to ask, how much taxes do I have to put aside out of that? You know, just to be safe. I asked ChatGPT, yo, Chat, what should I do? So Chat says, it's important, you know, the important thing for a truck driver is that taxes are based on your profit after legitimate business. You know, after legitimate business expense. There's a truck right there. I don't know, he probably bumping something. So chat is saying, let's do back over this part right here. The important thing for truck drivers is that taxes are based on your profit after legitimate business expenses, not simply every dollar shown on your 1099. So that $2,250 you make with the Russian, not all of it will be taxable. You know what I mean? Because you might do some business expense out of that, so they can't tax the whole thing, which is cool. And chat gives an example right here. Chat said, for example, suppose the company pays you $120,000 for the year, but you have $30,000 of deductible truck business expenses. Your net business profit would roughly be $90,000, and taxable would be calculated based largely on that $90,000. So taxable income will be that $90,000. You won't pay tax on the whole 120, all right? So chat is saying, personally, if you were asking chat, you know, what percentage to put away from your 1099 working with the Russians, chat, you know, so you don't be surprised at tax time. You know, I'm paraphrasing, and I don't want to give word for word what chat says. It's on the screen, you can read it. Chat is saying, you know, if you want to put away money so you don't be surprised at tax time, chat would recommend you put away 30% off that $2,250. You know what I mean? That's what chat recommends. So I'm like, okay, cool. What does that 30% look like though, chat? Can, you know, I asked chat, what is that 30% looking like? Chat gave me a breakdown. You know, I say, yo, what if I make that $2,250 working 1099 with the Russians? How much should I put away for taxes out of that? I asked chat. Chat saying, yo, if you receive $2,250 working with the Russian at 1099, running 3,000 miles a week at 75 cents per mile, using the safe 30% rule, chat recommend you put away $675. And after you put away $675 out of that $2,250, your take-home pay money remaining will be $1,575. That's your money right there. But hey, we all know a lot of drivers running the 1099, they do not put away this $675. Remember, we're just calculating based on the 3,000 miles. Don't come in the comment section and tell me you run 4,000 miles or you run 5,000 miles. We are doing apples for apples right now. Not apples for oranges. Apples for apples. So chat is saying it's safe to put away that. So we kind of have an idea of what the 1099 looking for the Russian, if you should do it the right, legitimate way. You know what I mean? Out of that 2,500 to put away, out of that 30%, you'll go home with that. So I'm thinking, yo, but if I'm working for Helwig and I'm doing that same 3,000 miles at 62 cents a mile, what would be my take-home pay though after all those deductions? You know what I mean? The federal taxes, the state tax, Medicare, Social Security, all of that good stuff, you know, disability, whatever the case may be, how much money will I be left with? You're probably thinking, Romain, it's gonna be low. But there's a thing when you run company driver or W-2. There's a thing called per diem pay. What is per diem pay? Since this is the first time you're hearing this, you might be like, oh shit, what the hell is per diem pay? Per diem pay, let's say that's 62 cents. Maybe Helwig said, Romain, you know, 10 cents out of that 62 cents is per diem pay. Maybe 15 cents out of that 62 cents is per diem pay. So right away, that 15 cents is non-taxable. You get to keep that. You'd have to take that out of it, then you tax the remaining balance. You understand what I'm saying? So if you should get 60 cents per mile and 10 cents is per diem, you will only pay tax on 50 cents a mile, and that 10 cents per mile, they will put it right back into your money to add to your take-home pay. So that's the per diem. So I asked chat, yo, give me a breakdown, chat. At 15 cents per mile per diem pay of getting $1,860 a week as a company driver working, for example, Helwig. You know what I mean? Maybe Helwig is not 15 cents per diem. Maybe it's 10 cents per diem. Maybe it's 8. You know, maybe it's 16 cents. Who knows? Call him up and ask him. So we have a breakdown right here. I live in New York, so I asked chat to give me a New York example. Chat is saying, yo, if you make $1,860 a week, taxable wages will be only $1,410. $450 out of that per diem at 3,000 miles, $450 will be tax-free. So when you take out federal income tax, Social Security at 6.2%, Medicare at 1.45%, New York state tax, you know, New York paid family leave, disability, if they charge that, you know, the estimated tax will be $319.87, and my estimate take home would be $1,540, because that $450 will come right back down after all the deductions. So right away, the Russian guy is only taking home $35 more than me at Helwig. $35 more. You following? No, I'm asking, are you guys following what I'm saying? The 75 cents a mile sounds so attractive, but I know, like I said, I'm going to play a video clip at the end of this video, which will spook a lot of y'all. I know a lot of lease drivers out there. I know a lot of 1099 drivers out there. They are not putting aside, let me get it back in here. They are not putting aside that $675 if we should go by the metric 3,000 miles a week at 75 cents. They are not putting away that 30%. So they take home the whole $2,250 and saying, hey, I make bags this week. But they're not putting aside taxes. But like I said, I have a video clip in the end of this that will spook you guys. So after we see what the company guy makes, I asked chat. I said, yo, chat, I want you to do a comparison. I want you to do a comparison with the Russian guy, 1099, 3,000 miles, and he's getting 75 cents a mile. And I want you to do, you know, for example, Helwig at 62 cents a mile at 3,000 miles. Which one will you choose, chat? Which one is the best option? I'm gonna ask chat. You know, chat says right here, you know, for comparison of the two actual offer we calculated, the 1099 at $2,250 per week gross, and the company driver at $1,860 a week gross with the 15 cents per diem, using the assumption we already been using. The 1099 guy, you know, it shows you the breakdown. 30%, you have to reserve 30% tax out of that $2,250. And your estimate take home is $1,575. You also, when you look at the W2 side, the gross $1,860, $450 per diem. The estimate money after taxes is $1,540, and it shows you the difference. The guy over by the Russian is winning by $35 a week. But guess what? I'm going to debunk that with the next slide I'm about to show you. And that at $35 a week, you're making more at the Russian. Your annual gross after the year is $117,000, and for me over by Helwig, it would be like $96,720. You're like, oh, Romain, that's way more gross. We're not talking about gross. That's not what you're taking home. The annual tax, the annual take home is $81,900 for the 1099 guy working at the Russian after you take out that 30% tax. Don't forget the tax. That is the problem we have out here as truck drivers. We are not accounting for the taxes. And if you should go by Helwig, the approximate, you know, annual take home is $80,000. So you're only making $1,000 and change more than me. But you might be saying, Romain, that's still more. But guess what? The next slide will show you where Helwig will come right back into play and knock that out the park. But before I show the next slide, man, if you're following so far, you might be saying, but hey, Romain, I'm here working with the Russians. I pay my taxes and everything. I'm on top of things. I don't pay 30%. I pay 20. Maybe you figure out some way to work around the books and you're doing good. That's cool. But I can tell you, if there are 100 truck drivers out there running 1099, how much out of that 100 drivers you think are paying their taxes quarterly? How much? I'll say 10%. I think 90% of these guys are not paying any taxes. They're not. Same thing goes for the lease guy. They're not paying any taxes. Let's bring in this slide right here, man, because we asked, Chat GPT, Chat, in your opinion, man, I want to know which option will you take based on all the breakdowns we just show you. What will you take? Come on, Chat, talk to me. Chat said, my opinion, I would take the W-2 company driver at $18.60 with the 15 cents per mile per diem, assuming the company also provide decent benefits. That's a key word right there, benefits. Are you getting benefits over by the Russians? All right, tell me, are you getting benefits? Chat proceed. Chat also said, here's what really jumps out to me. The 1099 job is paying you $390 more every week in gross income, not net, gross income. But after setting aside 30% for tax, you're only coming out approximately $35 a head per week. Is that $35? I'll pay that $35 just not to worry about taxes at the end of the day. I'll drive for Helwig just to not worry about paying any taxes at the end of the day. Chat goes on. Chat also said that $35 per week, that's only $1,800 more per year usable money. So the 1099 guy working at the Russian, he's winning. He's making $1,800 more for the year. But guess what? We're going to get deeper into it, and I'm going to show you how that $1,800 will come right back into the Helwig driver's pocket. Now, Chat says, for just $1,800 extra annually, I personally wouldn't want to take on, and these are some of the stuff Chat wouldn't want to have to take on working for the Russian. Chat said, 15.3 self-employment tax? I don't want to have to be paid that. Chat said that quarterly estimate taxes? I don't want to deal with that. No employer share of Social Security or Medicaid? What's going to happen when you get old? You haven't been contributing to Social Security working with the Russians at 1099. You're not. No Medicare. You know what I mean? Chat says, potentially paying for my own health insurance? Hell no. Chat doesn't want to pay for his own health insurance. Chat rather works for Helwig and got that health insurance benefit and all of that stuff. You just sign up. You just let them know, I want to sign up for that. You know what I mean? Chat says, no paid vacation. I want us to stick a pin right there. Stick a pin right there. No paid vacation. Do you remember that $1,800 you make as the 1099 driver per year, which is more than the guy working at Helwig? That $1,800, guess what? You get no paid vacation for the Russians. That $1,800, Helwig might put that in my pocket and say, Romain, go on vacation. So right away, I'm making the same money as you. Probably more. So that $1,800 is out of here. So Helwig will give you that paid vacation. You know what I mean? I'm saying Helwig, I work for Helwig. You know what I mean? I could talk for Helwig. I don't know about any other companies. No paid vacation. Also, no potentially 401k match. Are you getting 401k match working 1099 with the Russian? Let me know in the comment section. Are you getting it? Remember, we already did the breakdown. And see how the money goes, just barely a difference. But when you look at surface level, 75 cents a mile versus 62 cents a mile. You're like, oh, I'm going for 75 cents a mile. It's more. But it's not. It's not 401k. I don't think Vladimir and Kusinov and them guys over there are going to give you no match 401k match. No, take this 1099 gross and get out of here. I don't care what you want to do. You know what I mean? You have less employee protection working with the Russians. Less employee protection. Maybe that workman compensation. I don't know. Maybe you got some insurance that you pay. Might have a little policy for workman comp. Something wrong with you out there. I don't know. But you have less employee protection. And more complicated tax filing, man. Who wants to deal with all that quarterly filing and gotta keep track of it? Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. You know what I mean? But hey, it can be done. It can be done. If you are one of those guys who, when you get the money, you will put away aside what should put aside. You know what I mean? It can work. Let's get this off the screen. It can work. If you are, if you can just be disciplined and do it diligently every week. You could. You know what I mean? You could. But yeah, let me know. But like I said, I have a clip for you guys. Yes, I have a clip. Yo, if you want to come to Helwig, man, I'm telling you, call the recruiter. I'm going to pin the information in the comment section. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any question. If you are coming to Helwig and you sign up and use my driver code, just hit me up on Instagram and say, Romain, I'm coming to Helwig, man. I use your driver code. I want you to tell me the ins and out. When you sign up and you go to orientation, I'll have them give you my phone number. Or if you sign up, you message me on Instagram or Facebook. The information is running across the screen right now. And we could talk right there. I'll give you my info, my phone number. When you come to Helwig and working, if you have any questions, you can call me and ask me. But once you sign up and use my driver code, just let them know. Romain the trucker. What the breakdown he did with the Russian guys, man. I don't want to be the one owing taxes. Because after the next video, the clip that I'm about to play, you're going to see. I don't want to be that. I want to make sure everything is taken care of. Because there's not that much difference. And I get paid vacation. And I get protection. And all of these other benefits. I want to work with you, Helwig, because Helwig has the mile. The mile is over here at Helwig. I'm not talking about some regular trucking company. Helwig has the mile. You know what I mean? So if you decide to sign up and you sign up and everything and they accept you and you go into orientation, message me on Instagram so I could get you my phone number and we could talk. I could tell you what to expect. Because maybe when you start working at Helwig, something with the paperwork, you'll be like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. They did tell me what to do in orientation, but I forgot. You don't want to call the dispatcher and look stupid. Maybe you hit me up because you use me as referral. I want to make sure you're good and comfortable. You will have my phone number to call me. And I can say, oh, don't worry about that, man. Just put an X right there on the paper. You'll be all right. Send it in. Get your money. Move on. You know what I mean? Or I tell you, put the information in or what to do. You know what I mean? I could tell you about routes and, some places that I park certain time of the day when the truck stop is full. I got some spots that I located out here and I parked there. Stuff like that, man. Like I said, Helwig, they have the miles. But let's not ramble on too long, man. I have a video right here. It's you can go check them out. It's called Truckers Alive. They are like a tax firm. And they kind of, I didn't crop it out because I'm using their video. So this is like promotion for them. But the guy said some interesting stuff right here, man. We're going to listen to it right now. Let's listen to it. Turn my headset on. Let's listen to it and hear what he's saying, man. Let's play this. Come on. Stop messing around.
We had a trucker come to us who didn't file his taxes for years. He said he was busy being on the road all day. But guess what happened? Since the IRS didn't have any information for him, they filed for him. They were essentially guessing. And that's how he ended up with a tax bill of over $150,000. This is called a substitute for return, and you don't want this happening to you, trust me. It's almost always higher than if you had just filed Especially when none of your deductions are included, it only gets messier. So if you're in a similar situation, you want to file as soon as possible.
Yep.
This is why we started a tax company dedicated to truck drivers.
All right, see that? Check them out. If you're one of those drivers out there, I use their video, so go check them out right there. You see that? If you do not file your taxes, the IRS will just go ahead and guesstimate. And you probably owe $150,000. So is it worth it, man, to work with the Russians at 75 cents a mile? And you're getting that money? I mean, there are some benefits to it. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? You're working with the Russians, you can work 2 months and you can say, yo, I quit. And you quit for 2 months and then you go back and work another 2 months with them. You could do that. You know what I mean? They'll take you. As long as Vladimir and Kostanov and all of them guys, Dmitry and all of them got a truck up there, you know, they will put you in a truck. You know what I mean? And some of them don't do random drug testing, so if you're one of them guys, you worried about random, you could go over there. But if you want to make money and do the right thing and don't have to worry at the end of the year and get all these benefits and, savings towards your future with with 401k and Social Security and all of that, come over by Helwig and you will make that sure miles every week, man. Let me know in the comment section. I know y'all gonna come for me. Maybe I forgot a couple of stuff. Let's have the debate in the comment section. And like I said, if you want to come to Helwig, man, hit up the recruiter. I put the information in the comment section. And once you sign up, you message me on Instagram and let me know, Romain, I signed up, man, what to expect. And we can talk from there. When you at orientation, I can let you know what's what. When you get your truck doing your first load, I can hold your hands. And you will have my number. Maybe one day you can tell me some interesting story and I share it on my YouTube channel. Maybe I feature you on the YouTube channel. Who knows? But I'm just extending the olive branch, man, to y'all out there. A lot of you guys are prime right now. Maybe you are a company driver or a lease driver. I just did the breakdown. And if you're okay, maybe you're a company driver and you're only making $800 a week. You just said we did a little breakdown right there. You could make it 15. My check that I just got today is $1,800. $1,800. And the whole video was talking about 15. I'm talking $1,800 net take home. Net. You know what I mean? So, yo, come to Helwig, man. That Russian shit sounds good. You'll be driving 18 hours a day. My boy was talking to me earlier. He said, yo, I almost crashed. I was tired. I was pushing the load. I got a load from Connecticut to California. The mile sounds good, but the time to get there, man, that's a team driving shit. And he's just him, but that's a team load, and he has to be pushing it. And he's drained, man. He's drained. Don't risk your CDL, man. Protect your CDL. Protect your CDL. Do the right thing, man. Come over to Helwig. We getting the money over here. I know. I'm in my prime PTC, primetime certified shirt today. You know what I mean? We certified, baby. And we got the Helwig ring right here. We're a safe driver, baby, all around the clock. We just do the right thing because we run our 14-hour clock, 11-hour drive, and we go to sleep and get that good rest sleep because Vladimir and them is not calling on her phone asking, yo, why are you in Illinois? You should be in Ohio right now, or you should be in Nebraska. What's going on? You're like, oh, man, I'm tired, man. They're like, what? You tired? Get up and drive. Man, let me know in the comment section what y'all think, man. It's your boy, made a trucker. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hype the video. Some of y'all hitting the hype button. Some of y'all watching and you're not subscribed to the channel. Come on, man. Subscribe to the channel. It's good content. You probably never seen a breakdown like this before because you're just looking at surface level. I just made a deep dive and Helwig came out on top. Shout out to Big H. It's a more man trucker. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.